Hello, Nope Coach Fam Bam. Welcome to episode 347. Describe yourself in 3 words. I'm your host, Suzanne Kohlberg. Now, I am a hardcore introvert, socially awkward, and whenever I used to hear those words, describe yourself in 3 words, I would like shudder inside. And I don't know, I'm curious to hear how you respond to this. If you're watching on YouTube, let me know in the comments. When you go to an event, a networking event, a job interview, wherever it is, and someone says, hey, describe yourself in 3 words, what comes up for you? I remember in my people-pleasing days, I would say something like resourceful or resilient or kind. And yes, while I am those things, how I'd describe myself today, if you were saying, hey, Suzanne, could you describe yourself in 3 words? It would be irreverent, unfiltered, and mischievous. And for those of you who do watch these podcasts on the video, I get lots of comments on my background. And one of the characters, I suppose you describe it on my background, is a parrot. And I don't have an affinity for birds. My sister does. My sister Shirley, my voice twin, she will come on the show one day, and I'll be curious to see if you can tell us apart if you listen to the audio. But she has so many birds. Just incredible number. But yeah, I'm not really a birds person. But Emma Vega Malta from Bespoke Backdrops and Branding, she did the design, she did my branding. And when she was thinking of what to put on there, she said, parrots are irreverent, unfiltered, and mischievous, just like you. And I was like, I have never received such a compliment. And I received that, and I will use that. So if you're unsure how to describe yourself in 3 words, perhaps ask a friend, a colleague, or ask them all and just be curious to see what they come up with. Because, yeah, how do you see yourself? How do others see you? Is there an alignment or is there a mismatch? And it's just, something to be really curious about. I'm reminded of Ted Lasso. I'm a Ted Lasso fan. If you haven't seen it, it's on Apple TV. He mentions a quote, and he actually says who said it originally, but it's like, be curious, not judgmental. And sometimes when something happens and it doesn't go our way, like you might ask a friend or a loved one or a colleague or a boss or something this question, hey, how would you describe me in 3 words? And first off, that takes a lot of cojones to ask somebody that, because you've got no idea where they're going to go with it. I remember a number of years ago in one of my forays into personal development, one of the courses I did, there was like a short survey. And they asked you to give it to, I think it was 10 of your closest friends, family, acquaintances, workplace, or whatever. And they would answer it. And it was like a Google Drive thing, and it would be anonymous. And then you would be given the results. Now that's as confronting as fuck. And what was curious was, although it was anonymous, you can just tell by the turns of phrase, by, what is said, who says what. And I always find it interesting when I am asked to give feedback or whatever. And recently I went on Danielle Ryan. If you don't follow her on YouTube, highly recommend it. She does a lot about life coach snark and, some of the dark side of the life coaching industry. I was like, you don't need to like bleep out my voice or blur my face or whatever. I'm happy to be unapologetically me. Perhaps that's the irreverent, unfiltered, mischievous part of me. But also too, my turns of phrase, if you knew me the way I gave examples, you'd know it was me. So all of this to say, describing yourself in 3 words, are you describing yourself as you feel that you are, as you aspire to be, or back into my people-pleasing days, as you think they want you to be? It reminds me of that quote, dress for the job you want. And then it's like, this is how I found myself, dressed as Batman. But if you lie, for lack of a better word, on the interview and say, I'm really detail oriented or I'm really punctual or whatever, and you are not, and then it comes to pass that you're not really a fit in that situation for that job, for that role, then you can't expect it. Like I am very punctual. So if someone says to me, hey, let's meet for a coffee or something at 3-ish, I'll be like, at 3? Or like, I never land for the ish, because for some people, 3-ish can mean anytime up to 4:30. And I know that I'm a very punctual person. If I'm not 5 minutes early, then I'm late. And that's how I roll. So by saying that I was, blasé about the time when I'm not, it's not going to be a fit down the track. And if you do this exercise and you ask, friends, loved ones, colleagues, bosses, whatever, to describe you in 3 words, and those 3 words don't feel aligned for you, or that, the path that you want to continue to go down, what do you want to work towards? Because people have described me as blunt. People have described me as, lazy or efficient or unkempt, all sorts of things, straight shooter. None of these things offend me because, that's how I am. But if somebody wants something to be sugar-coated and they ask the blunt person, that's on them. Like, I'm thinking, for my dad, for example, I love my dad fiercely, but he is more blunt than I am, if that's possible. So if I'm like, how do I look in this? He isn't somebody I go to ask, or what do you think of this? If I can't handle the bluntness of the reply, me being the blunt person that I am now, if someone comes to me and asks for something, I will say, like, do you want like a uplifting answer, or do you want real Suze? Like, do you want homeopathic Suze, or do you want full Suze? Because sometimes I can, and it's never meant in a harsh or hurtful way, but it can be received like that. So that's another thing to consider. Our intentions aren't necessarily how other people receive that. And it takes me back to that quote, offense can never be given, only taken. And, there are times if someone asks you for your opinion on something, you may choose to buffer it, or, what's that shit sandwich model? You say something really cool, then you say what you really think, and then you say something cool to finish it off. Like, you may choose how you present your answer. I guess that depends how unfiltered I am on that day. These are all, things to consider. And are they the way that you want to continue to be? I actually love being unfiltered, mischievous, cheeky, irreverent. That's how I roll. Some people don't quite know how to take me. I suppose you could add sarcastic to that list, but, maybe describe yourself in 3 words. Doesn't follow instructions. Typically. There we go. So, yeah, just things to think about today. How would you describe yourself in 3 words? For reals, not for the job interview. How much do you spend your time people pleasing or acting for the job that you want rather than the job that you're most aligned for, or the role that you're most aligned for? And how do you hold yourself back from being full you? In my case, full Suze, or whoever you are listening to this, full you, and instead present a homeopathic version to the world, and then sometimes end up on a visibility shame spiral, not feeling like you're fitting in because people don't know the real you. I am very fortunate in my life currently that, it has taken a long time to get here because I used to be a people pleaser. But, everybody who is a friend, an acquaintance, a close person can take full Suze. If they're like, hey, would you like to do this? And I'm like, nah, I'm having an introvert day. I don't need to second guess or overthink or wonder or worry. Have I offended them? Do they not like me anymore? Are they not going to invite me again? This is how she is. Like, and I just love that. And it takes a while to curate and create that. But part of that is getting really clear on who you are. And part of that is, I believe, being able to describe yourself in 3 words. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you're feeling brave and bold, I'd love for you to share. Describe yourself in 3 words. And if you want like bonus points, which nobody's going to keep score of, but, ask people around you, describe me in 3 words, and just be open, be curious, not judgmental, from Ted Lasso about what comes forth for that. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit like. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do. I am aiming for 1,000 subscribers this year, 2024. Let's see if I can get there. Hope to catch you on the next one. Bye for now.